Hello and welcome back to Faith Evolving. My name is Mary Claire and today we're going to be talking about how to stay Christian in college. If you're watching this the day of release, I graduate from undergrad tomorrow, which is a little terrifying, I won't lie to you. It's a little scary, it's a little spooky.
Spooky, scary.
Graduate, but I went into college Christian and oh my gosh, I still am. It's an absolutely rare, extremely unique experience because as we know, colleges are satanic.
Call me when you want.
Especially if it's a liberal arts college.
Call me when you need.
You know, I survived it. I think it's worth noting because I didn't know this for the longest time, but when people talk about liberal education, it's not the same as liberal political thought. It's about multidisciplinary learning, you know, connecting what you're learning to different areas in your life as well as between different subjects. But that's a real fear that people have. I actually went to my community tab and I asked, hey, if you or someone you knew grew up Christian, did anyone express a fear to you that you would get deconverted? It was kind of an even split between all of the options, but that's like a real thing. I didn't really get that, or if someone was trying to convey that message to me, it just went right over my head and I was oblivious to it. That is also very possible. This wonderful book someone gave to my boyfriend as a high school graduation present that he never read, and he's better for it. How to Stay Christian in College. It was released in 1999. As you can tell.
Abercrombie and Fitch.
Yeah, as you can tell. And I wasn't able to read the whole thing because it's kind of hard to read, not just content-wise, but just also it's not super well written. But nevertheless, I skimmed it. So in this video, we're gonna clown on this book a little bit, and then also I'm just gonna give you some actual genuine advice. So this book right here begins with an assertion that there is one or like a very distinct correct way to be a Christian, to do the whole Christianity thing. There's a lot of like a creationist mindset, very appeasing daddy God kind of thing. Not really the type of Christianity I have ever really been a part of. So that's also might be why I never got this book. No one was scared that I wouldn't stay Christian because I've always been loud about it.
I think I might be annoying.
And it's kind of riddled with this fear that you will encounter new ideas and new ideas are bad because you might change away from this one certain worldview, this one certain way to do things, and so you need to put on your full armor of God. Put on.
Yeah, so this just, and I definitely am annoying.
To close your ears.
Close your mouth. Close your eyes.
What is the thing? See no, hear no evil, see no evil, say no evil. The monkeys. So they set up what God says about the world. It's a very like, this is the way that it is. There is no nuance. This is what God says. This is what God means. My experience with vibing with religion and spirituality and God, it is anything but clear. I think unknown is like a huge part of God, more than certainty is. And maybe I just am a little too hippie for their taste. And then they talk about what the world thinks about itself. Mainly that the world thinks very highly of itself. They really hate naturalism, which is this idea that all that we know is what's here and there likely isn't anything beyond. And God is seen as supernatural. And they kind of set up professors to be like really anti-religion all the time, which has not been my experience at all, which we'll get to later in the real advice. And then postmodernism, that the truth is fragmented. Everyone thinks that the truth is all these different things, but we know the truth. Our understanding of the truth is the only truth. It is the way, the truth, and the life. It is white Jesus, and that's it, just our version. And I might be straw manning this.
Granted, this is the book's top comment on Goodreads.
But we'll get more into what postmodernism actually is in one of the next videos, if not the next video. I'm doing a whole thing on it because there's a lot of misconceptions about postmodernism. Moving on in the book, after we get to laying out this opposing idea of God and the world as being, you know, intrinsically different and irreconcilable. There's a whole guide on how to convert your non-Christian friends. And like, there's like a literal script. And ways to answer possible questions. And there's this implication that they can't influence you. You cannot become more like your non-Christian friends. Your non-Christian friends need to become more like you because you know best. And if they're influencing you too much in the evil ways of the world, cut them off. You can't learn anything from them, only they can learn from you. Which I think is very, very dangerous in like a college environment or an environment where you are on your own for the first time and you're encountering people from other cultures. That is a good thing to learn and to grow, and you're just kind of caging yourself unnecessarily, and it's not placing a trust in these people to trial and error and figure things out on their own. How are they going to learn how to be adults if you won't let them, or you terrify them into not ever experiencing their own like independence and their own, in it they talk about discernment, and you're not letting them flex their discernment. They also talk about you need to subscribe to one specific sexual ethic. There's guy myths and girl myths. They're really against sex. I'm surprised they don't talk anything about the LGBTQ community. At least not, I didn't find it in my skimming. They come up with all of these myths that are out there in the world, and you gotta avoid them. How to go for your professor and tell them, wrong.
I don't care if you're a so-called expert in your field who's studied the subject material for like years.
I don't really want to talk about this book anymore or really look at it anymore, because don't read it. It's not worth it. It's not even worth it to clown on. It's just not a great book. But also, like, don't find this guy and bully him either. Just don't buy his book and you'll be fine. So now we're gonna go on to my actual good advice.
Can't tell you what I learned from school, but I could tell you a story or two.
If you are someone who is about to go to college or in college, who is a Christian and wants to stay a Christian, find a healthy faith community, and that is going to take some research and some time and listening to your gut. Find one that encourages your growth and encourages dialogue, engaging in different ideas, who isn't going to condemn you for your questions or your doubts, and also one that isn't too quick to give you a very simplistic, easy answer to your questions or your doubts, but who's willing to wrestle with those things and walk alongside you in that. I also want to caution that a lot of the large national overarching organizations that have different chapters, if you will, or setups in different individual colleges are not affirming. So you might have to do some digging into that. You know, do they support women in leadership? Do they allow LGBTQ plus people to serve on the team? What sort of legislation or rules do they have behind the curtain?
You may preach all are welcome, but there are some that if you get into leadership, you have to sign something vowing not to have sex before marriage, to not engage in, same-sex behaviors, or not even sleep in the same room as someone who is of the opposite gender who's not a relative.
So if there isn't a healthy community for you, honestly, make one. Gather some friends together. You'll be pretty Christ-like. That's what the early church was just some friends hanging out over a meal, talking about God and supporting each other through it, and not trying to figure out who's the better Christian, but rather how can we be pals together who also, vibe with Christ. Also work on your own individual faith practices as well. For me, I'm really bad at keeping up with it because I'm terrible at routine, but journaling, when I journal, I kind of address them as letters to God. So it's my kind of form of prayer and also processing what's going on in my brain. Going on walks, listening to music, kind of moving around helps me feel in my body and connected with the divine. And then also sometimes on my walks, I just listen to podcasts that are talking about God and getting other people's perspectives. There's always morning devotionals or, reading your Bible, just making sure you're keeping up with those things that make you feel centered and grounded and fill you with life. Also, you can have non-Christian friends and it's okay. And you don't need to convert them. And you can be friends with each other outside of church activities, and your whole identity does not have to be as a churchy person.
Also, you can talk about non-God things with your friends from church.
But also, if your faith is a big part of your identity and you want it to be a big part of your identity, find friends who will care that that's a part of your life and will listen to your stories, just as you talk about any other activity you do in your life with your pals.
For example, during highs and lows for my sorority, if something big happened in my faith life, I'd share that. In a faith community, if something happened big in my sorority, I'd share that because it's a part of my life. It's not to try to convert people. Yes, maybe if I'm preaching, I'll say something to my sorority, be like, hey, if you want to come support me. Not to try to convince either side to become like me, but just because friends support each other.
And then atheists are okay. Like, they're not scary. They're not evil, mean people, I promise. As far as professors go and them trying to, steal you from the faith, did not happen in my experience at all. One of my most favorite professors actually is an atheist, and they were one of my biggest supporters in me going to seminary. First, they asked me, what is seminary? Because how the heck are they supposed to know? Then I said, grad school for Jesus. And they were like, that'd be perfect for you. And they wrote me letters of recommendation. So if you are a Christian and you have an atheist professor, don't be a dick. And then if you're an atheist professor with a Christian student, just don't be a dick. And then my last piece of advice is, if you do lose your faith in college, you are not now immoral or evil. You're just a person living your life. Hot take from a Christian, your life still matters and you still have worth. And Christians don't need to feel threatened by you. So yes, this has been How to Stay Christian in College from a Christian who stayed Christian in college, so much so that she's doing more college to study Christ. Leave down in the comments below your thoughts and your vibes. Also, if you have any ideas of videos that you want to see next, I'd really appreciate that. I have some in the lineup that I'm planning on doing, but I'm gonna have time in the summer to really dive into things and make a lot of content. Hopefully it'll be fairly weekly, and it's gonna be a blast, and I'm really excited, and I'm thankful you're all here. So subscribe so you don't miss out, and ring the notification bell so you really don't miss out. And yeah, I'm gonna go get my diploma. Bye.